Ciao everybody, and welcome to our little channel here. I thought I would like to show you my very first, I'm calling it an art journal. This is the very first one I've made. I've watched so many YouTubers create the most wonderful things. I was so excited that I just wanted to have a go myself, and I'm amazed at actually what I've managed to achieve. So, although it may look a little bit odd to you, like, this may not be your choice of cover or ribbon, this was actually what I had on hand, and I'm going to show you what I did. This is basically an altered book. So I watched so many YouTube channels to see how everybody was doing. I got so excited. I just thought, I can keep watching or I can do something. So I'm just going to take you on a little trip inside. Now, first, I want to show you this. I don't sew. I don't. Not that I never have sewed, I just don't trust myself sewing. So what I did is I actually glued this together. So it's a little bit stiff, but it's completely glued. I glued it. I had a piece, I glued it all together. It's made, and I think I used tacky glue. If there's some of you out there going, oh, you didn't. Yes, I did. But I've actually ended up with something that is workable. And I'm actually very happy with it. So I don't mind that at all. Let me just move that up just a little bit. Okay. Now, I made a couple of mistakes, and I don't mind telling you because, that's what we do here. But it's a creative journey, and every mistake is actually a learning curve, and it's also an opportunity to create something. So this is my very first page. Now what happens when you do an altered book? You're supposed to take a book and remove pages and stick the front page to the cover, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on my paints and just get in there. And so I got the gesso. I did all the things that I was supposed to do. So I applied gesso to this page, and then I started applying acrylic on everything. And so my husband is Italian. I make pasta for a living, and so this reminds me of one of the places where we actually live in Italy, a place called Valle Corsa. So I wanted this to reflect all of the vibrant colours and scenery and food, food, and everything to do with Italy in this journal. I've sort of restricted myself a little bit, but I don't mind. I'm still going to make it a journey. And I did the cover after I did the image. So, of course, this looks a little bit nasty for some people. But, it's my journal, and I still love it. I absolutely love it. I also took some images from a magazine that had this beautiful wall, because Valle Corsa is known for its dry stone walling. And to get this perspective, I thought, I can't paint that. I'm not, my painting skills aren't up to par quite yet. And so I cut some pieces out of a magazine and stuck them in there. And these are images of other people's paintings from the same magazine. It's actually the magazine produced in Valle Corsa itself. It's a little village just south of Rome, up in the mountains, where they're known for their olive oil. So I just cut this up, and I've touched that in there. It keeps falling out because this is too shallow. This is in Italian, sorry. And this is a translation for this piece. It's from a poem, and it reads, "From when I saw thee first, what other care did ever prompt my heart than love of thee?" And that's how I feel about Valle Corsa, and that's how I feel about Italy in general. And I've popped it on the back of somebody else's painting of another olive tree. And this was from Valle Corsa, the Valle Corsa magazine. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And they keep falling out because I made this a little bit shallow. So I pin them together there with a handy little bulldog clip. Okay, page 2. And you know what? I can't remember what's on page 2. So let's go. This is going to be an adventure which we can have together. Ta-da! Oh, okay, I know what this was. Years ago, I lived in France, and they craft a lot in France, and what you call decoupage here, with the using serviettes or what you call napkins, they call servietting there. And I learned to do servietting, and I have a whole box full of these beautiful serviettes. This one, I have to say, wasn't one of my favorites, but it's actually a conglomeration of 2 serviettes. This one here is a serviette. This one here, I put some more Italian poetry behind. So the first thing I did was I gessoed everything, like I've seen on YouTube. I applied some paper with some Italian writing on it, and then I applied more gesso over that, and I started to apply the serviettes. This butterfly, I think I cut out and stuck on. Oh, it's a sticker, because the sticker, the back end of the sticker, had the shape of a butterfly there, so I'm sorry, but I didn't waste it. I just stuck it up here. Then I went on to YouTube, and it's amazing what if you haven't drawn for a long time, or you think you can't draw, you can go on to YouTube and say, how to draw blah, whatever you choose. So I wanted to draw dandelion seeds flying off into the air. I don't know why, it was just in my head. And I did find a channel that shows you how to draw these. And so I did. Look at those look at them. Aren't they beautiful? And so this was page number 2. And I noticed that my pages are getting all crinkly and wrinkly, but I really enjoy that part of the process, because I think the joy of this is there are fine arts, and then there is just art for art's sake. And this is what I think journaling is all about, and art journaling in particular. It's just art for art's sake. Whatever you have inside you, wherever it takes you, is where it'll end up. So you find yourself lost in these colours and blending, and it's an absolute joy. So it's not perfect. I couldn't draw this to save my life. But I had a handy little serviette. Down it goes. My little butterfly. I'll get round to painting some butterflies one day. But for this page, I didn't. But hey, I got my little seeds out, and I applied everything, and I mixed some paint, and I tried to blend it. So I really did have fun with this page. Again, I don't know what's on on the next page, so let's have a look. Ta-da! Oh, this was great. Okay. This looks like madness. However, what it is, it's a day. I wanted to try to journal a day using images that I found on the internet or in my stuff. And so here I started to write some Italian poetry. I copied it, actually. I wanted it to look old, and so I spent some time drawing and writing some Italian words in a lovely sepia colour. I can't remember what pen I used, but I'll have a look. I had a lettuce in my fridge for the longest time, and I thought, it's one of those things. Iceberg lettuce does not last forever. So I thought I'd better start to eat it. And I happened to find this. I thought, that is great. I took my dog to the park, and I've never seen it before. They usually mow the grass over there with one great big tractor thing, but there were a whole host of men on these great big lawn mowers, and there must have been 3 or 4 of them, and they were all cutting the grass together and trimming and doing whatever. The scissors are to show you that I cut all this stuff out. And that is because I fancied an ice cream, and I didn't actually get one. This is I was making pasta that day, and this is an old advertising image for pasta, Italian pasta, pasta Riccardi. So we love that. This is my little Wally here. It's not actually him, but this is him. When I see him sleeping, this is sometimes what he looks like. He looks like a little angel. My husband is building a pool at the back of the house, and so we had to make reference to that. The air conditioning guy came round, and I happened to find this piece of artwork, which is an old advertising thing. Your wife is hot. And I was. So the AC repairman had to come out. Cucumbers, that really goes in line with my AC and also what I had in my fridge. Anyway, I did, and the copious amounts of coffee and water that I drink. So I did really have fun with that. The butterfly, because I saw the biggest butterfly in the garden, and I'm used to, in England, you used to seeing like little tiny little butterflies fluttering. This thing was like a saucer. It was huge. So I popped that one there and stuck it all down and did a little shading. The almond, why did I do, oh, I know. The almond was because I had bought some little, what do they call them? Like a nutritious bar thing, like a little mini one. It had almonds in it. Well, it was really good. I have to show you what those are. So, day in the life of me on the 4th, 29th, 21. Okay, next page. I still don't know what's coming. I can't remember. Okay, ready, go. Oh, okay, I haven't done this one yet. This is actually a little piece of artwork done by our grandchildren. So I wanted to include this in my art journal because to me, it's still art. And I have some other things to go. This is ready to receive other things that I have planned for. So this has already been gessoed with clear gesso. I probably should have done white gesso, but this is a page that I'm waiting. So I put their artwork, because when you create a book journal, you end up with lots of space in between the pages to enable you to slide and stick something in between. So that's what I've done. So this is ready for the artwork of the grandkids. Can't wait to see it. All right, what's coming next? Okay, this was interesting because I really didn't know what to do and I just had some spare time. And so I was going through my books and I came across a picture of a tap and some with some water gushing from it. And I love flowers. I love my garden. And I just wanted to experiment with stuff because what I've done here is, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but I had some packaging, some clear packaging, and I stuck that over the water to make it look wet. I put a little pocket in because I found that I could make little pockets, and I found a little image of an old book that says, "How does your garden grow?" And I stuck that on some cardstock that I had, sort of floral and bees, because they're very important in the garden, aren't they? And so I popped that in there. Because I was on YouTube and found out how to make a little pocket, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stick a pocket there. And also I had some lace with a little flower on, and I thought it's all about flowers and gardens, and so that really does belong there. This is an image that I bought in the Dollar Tree. It was this great big strip of magnificently huge floral designs like this one, and so I wanted to stick that in there. So people talk about focal points in the thing. I don't think I've actually learned that yet. I guess I'll get there. I don't know what the focal point is here, but I just like it because it's colourful and I like colour. And also I found out about splashes. Splashing your artwork is actually quite an amazing and ingenious thing. So because the water was coming down, I thought I'm going to splash it with white and blue. And so I did. Look, I don't know if you can see that. And I splashed it all over. I think it's beautiful. Okay, next one. Okay, this is another experiment because I realized that I hadn't actually used very much blue. And so I was going through some magazines and I found the most beautiful colors of blue and some artwork that was done. It was an article about a gallery. Gosh, I cut it all up. I didn't even think to make a note of it, where these little spheres were part of it. And I also found this dandelion shape, which I thought was absolutely gorgeous. Looks like a planet. And then this one here has actually got leaves on it. So you can just see that. It's a work in progress. I haven't done very much to this yet, but again, I can show you what I did, which was a bit of a mistake. I know what I did with this page. I applied some pastels to it, and I didn't really get on with the pastels. I made a few mistakes, so I started to cover it with magazine color, and then I acryliced over that, gessoed it in parts, but I didn't gesso here or here, and so it's lifting off. So lesson learned. But I wanted to keep this piece here, so I'm going to go over that with some clear gesso just to hold that in place, and I'm going to revisit this page to see where it's going to take me. But it's funny, when you're journaling, when you're art journaling, when you're creating something, you really do get lost in it, and it's actually quite a marvellous thing, and your head goes into different spaces all by itself. And so I chose this word, escapes, and I thought, I know it means something to me, and this looks like I could just escape into the blue, and so I shoved it in there, and I didn't want it to be part of this because I'm still developing this area, so I can come back to it, which I absolutely love the idea of. Next page, what have I got on there? I'm trying to feel it, just trying to guess. Okay, this was another experiment. Now, again, I made a few mistakes, but I'm not displeased with it. What I did is I had some cardstock, and I thought, I'm not using it because I was fearful of using it because it was quite expensive. But I had lots of tiny little bits. And one of my favourite places to visit in Italy is the Amalfi Coast, Positano. And there are lots of colours and images that you get from Positano. And I wanted to sort of create that in cardstock. So what I did was I cut out little individual pieces of card, arranged them. I sort of knew what I was doing. I built them on my counter here before I stuck them down, and then I wanted to blend them in and give them some shade and colour. Actually, I think it looked better before I did that. Again, this is a piece of work I haven't really finished because I have a beautiful empty sky here. There are no birds in the sky, but I know I'm going to go on to the YouTube channels and put a search in how to draw birds in the sky. Then I'm going to do it, and I'll probably do a little video for you on how I did it. So what's next? Well, this is a page that I did. I wanted to use the paper that I was removing from this book, which is actually a book from Winston Churchill. And so I stuck two pieces together, and again this is a serviette that I have from France, and some stenciling and some colouring and some shading and using gesso to help blend and shade. And I created a two-sided piece and then stuck it into my journal, into the spaces that are available to me. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this piece yet, but I'm so pleased with it because it was my first foray into actually, before I did any of this in here, I did this, and I gained some confidence from that. And I really do recommend that you do the same, because if you're feeling a little bit fearful of just having a go, remember, if you're altering a book or you have a book that you don't want, rip the pages out, stick them together and slap some paint on it. It's as simple as that. And don't be frightened. Your fear will actually turn into confidence over time. So these pages are clear gessoed. And so I stuck that there because I don't know what I'm going to do with these 2 pages. And another thing I did, I took out I used another 2 pieces of paper in order to create this. Now, this is quite eclectic. I wanted to do a little Florence theme, Firenze. It's beautiful there, and there's beautiful artwork to see. It's the home to Leonardo da Vinci, and so I wanted to try to apply some different color paint, something that I wasn't used to. And these are the sorts of colors that you see in some of the palaces and beautiful homes in Florence. And I wanted to emulate that and put that down there. I even managed to find a little bit of it in this tiny little piece of washi tape here. The lily is the emblem of Florence. In fact, this lily here, if you know anything about pasta at all, there's one called Gilli or Campanelli. I'm trying to see if I can find a piece of it on here, but I can't. That emulates the shape of the lily. So you know that Campanelli is a Firenze or a Florentine pasta. Also, this is some stenciling, and I practiced with making my own, what you call it? Like texture paint. And so again, I went onto YouTube and I found how to make texture paint using gesso, glue, and white acrylic paint. And so, no, hold on. Gesso, did I use gesso? No, acrylic paint, glue, and baking soda, not baking powder, baking soda. And it came up, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but it does have a beautiful raised texture to it, which I absolutely love. Again, it was an experiment. Again, for me, I'm not very good at drawing faces, and so I attempted it with my acrylics. So all of this is done in acrylic. This is some of my Italian writing, which I've tried to age, and I've made a little pocket out of it down here. And I wanted her to be wearing lace. Ladies back in many centuries ago would wear lace around their heads, and it's really difficult. I mean, I'm just relearning my drawing skills, and so I thought I'm not going to attempt that because her face, for me, her face came out okay. And so I didn't want to ruin it by applying any more paint. And so I put some lace that I had here. I can't even remember where I got that. Oh, I tell you where I got that. Now, here's interesting. Can't find lace? Go to Goodwill or any charity shop and just look around at the clothing, and believe me, you will find tons of it. And that's what that is. It's actually a little top which I've destroyed and created here. So you're reclaiming, recycling, re-arting. So what's on my next page? I don't think, no, I don't have. What I did this one in 2 different pages and then stuck them together with some more of that lace so that I could tuck it into the gap that is available within the pages that I ripped out. So that's another page. And I have all of this to go. Look at that. So my back page, interestingly enough, if you remember, if you're still with me, on my front page, where I really shouldn't have done that, I should have put the cover on first, possibly, and then pasted a piece of card over here and then painted on it. I actually have that opportunity on the back here. So I could cover this with a piece of card, and I think that's maybe what I'm going to do. The covering of it was actually quite simple. I wish I'd videoed it actually. But basically I went to Walmart and they have some large pieces of material, and you can pretty much choose what you want. So the first thing I did was I glued down, yes, I glued down this and tucked any loose ends that I had in here. And if you go to YouTube and do a search on how to make an altered book, or how to cover an altered book, you'll find lots of information there from some marvelous people doing some amazing things. So, my very first art journal. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and allowing me to share this with you. It's been an absolute joy, and I can't wait to create some more. So I'm going to close her back up. See why I don't mind if it's stiff or no, because it actually is quite easy to do a little bow like so and make her look quite pretty. I think I've done that upside down, but I'm not very good at making bows either. So, ciao for now, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Have a fabulous day, and get the paints and pens and paper out. Have some fun. Get yourself some me time, because that is so important. And once you start doing that, you'll understand the joy that you can get from just putting some paint or some biro or pencil down on a piece of paper. Hope to see you soon. Ciao, ciao.